Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Cookies. My name is Lindsay, and you are now watching one of the best shows this morning ever. We talk about life, leadership, parenting, positivity, and tangents that we get from you, our audience. So if you're listening to us on our podcast channels, we go live every workday morning on Facebook and YouTube around 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Come join us and help us find some tangents to talk about. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Lindsay, and good morning, audience. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Welcome to the Coffee and Cookies Morning Show. We have a guest in the studio right now, and it was one of those things where we started going down on tangents, and I was like, oh, hold on. Hit the pause button. Let's get these cameras rolling. So we can, because we want you as the audience to join us on this journey today. So, Lindsay, who do we have?
We are so excited. He's actually an old friend of ours, but so it was like catch up this morning of seeing an old friend. But we are so excited to have Chance Post from Total Care Emergency Energy. He brings the energy, emergency room. He's the clinical liaison for them. Good morning, Chance. Welcome to Coffee and Cookies.
Hey, Lindsay, thanks for having me. So we're already laughing. We're catching up.
Yes.
It's funny because people, clinical liaison, that sounds so, that's the medical.
What does that mean?
It's the medical terminology for saying I'm the marketing guy. I've got a few people that work for me, but basically it's very technical jargon.
It's very clinical.
The marketing.
Clinical.
Clinical for the marketing.
Go out and network and meet people and spread the word about Total Care Emergency Room.
I love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It.
So this will be the best show you guys have ever had. So let's just put that down right
Wow.
now.
I love it. I love it. He's bringing the confidence with that. Bringing the confidence. Okay, so hold on real quick. Let's take a step back. So we met at Venture X back in the day. And that was pre-COVID. COVID hit. Went through some rough spots. And then this company found you again, right? Because you'd worked with the leadership before, but they found you again and they pulled you.
Right. One of my former business partners found this company and he said, "Hey, come talk to these guys." I'm like, "No, I mean, I'm happy. I'm running my own gig at Venture X. I kind of run everything, do what I want." He goes, "No, you got to meet these guys." Went and met with them, and a Christian-based company, unbelievable culture, and started contracting with them, and now I've been there over a year full time, and it's just been an amazing company, amazing culture, and I just couldn't be happier.
That's
there
awesome.
You go. And it's good morning, sweet wife. Thank you for watching us this morning. And it's almost like a godsend, right?
Yeah,
because
completely.
after you left, after we left, after some other people left, that location at Venture X did get shut down. And the reason why it got shut down was because it got bought by, the whole building got bought by another company and they kicked everyone out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it wasn't that Venture X did anything wrong,
Right.
but what it got was that you got this position before all of that happened.
Right.
Right.
And so I walked out and 2 months later, and no one knew. It was just one of those
No
things.
one knew.
And it was so many stories that are, touched by God, because when we met this company, my partner was literally sitting in the parking lot of an ER we were opening for another company, and the owner drove by and drove around 3 times or 4 times, and then finally stopped, and they started talking, and then it all came from a random chance meeting in a parking lot.
I love that.
A random
Right.
I had to work that in, right?
I love it. A little self-promotion right there.
That's right.
So you have a gift, okay?
Yes.
And it's funny because I think it was last week we were on the phone and we were talking about how your gift is really getting people into the room, putting on networking events. And hear me on this. He works for Total Care, but if you need a networking group to explode, if you have a networking event that you want to start, this is the man you call. This is when we talk about your 1%, that is what you do, my friend.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it wasn't even something I set out that I knew that was going to be one of the things that's in my sort of zone of genius.
Zone of genius. I love that. Write that down, someone.
It's something that, when you find that you can do something and it's so easy and people go, "Gosh, that was really good." And you're like, "Well, I didn't really do anything. It was kind of easy." And then people go, "No, that's hard." And so we we're working for Total Care Emergency Room. Said, hey, we're going to have total networking because as a liaison, I'm marketing, I'm promoting total care. And so we started doing there was not enough COVID. We were talked about a little about COVID before the show. So there wasn't enough networking events going. So I go out to we started in Denton and there was no networking event in Denton. So we started one in Hickory Creek. Then we started Total Network. First meeting out of the gate, over 50 people. We had to cap it.
Wow.
We had we're at a local title company. Freedom Title was one of the sponsors. We couldn't fit any more in their training. And people are like,
that's
and I'm like,
amazing.
wow, that's weird. We didn't really it was all word of mouth, networking, advertising. Some people, what do you do if you miss the chamber event? You've got nowhere to go.
Ooh.
And so all of a sudden, it was almost like people came out of the woodwork. A lot of people, it was their first event since COVID. They were coming out. They wanted to get back out, see people. It was
But
pretty
they were
neat.
hungry.
Yeah, it was really powerful. And we're like, well, we need to do this all over. And it just kind of people call me to sponsor. It's not, it's $100, $200, not a big deal. But people are reaching out to, well, I want to be part of that because I can't make the 7:30 Frisco chamber meeting.
Right.
I'd like to do something in the afternoon.
But here's what you said. This is effortless for you. Like putting on networking events. Like I remember back at VentureX, that's something you just did. Yeah. Like you got people into VentureX, you put on networking events almost once a week.
Yeah, I mean every week, and I almost just was always kind of just doing it because now when I talk to somebody, he said, "Well, it's great to meet you. Hey, do we have time for a one-on-one, or do you want to come to my event next week? There's going to be more guys like me there." And so the next iteration is if we're talking, you guys should come to my networking event next week.
Right.
And it's just it's not any, and it didn't cost anything. It's not. I don't ever want you to get hurt and have to go to the emergency room.
Right.
So I'm not selling anything. So it's not like a roundabout way. Like, okay, Lindsay, I'm really trying to get you something over here. I've got no. It's not. It's like no. How can I help your business? And that tailors into we talked earlier about maybe coaching some different things. Like what I like to see is that light bulb come on. I can help people. This is one way I can help you. Without, it's good for everybody.
Well, but it's needed right now. It's needed right now. I mean, before the audience joined us, I mean, you shared some big stats. Is it okay if I share these?
Yeah, let's talk about those.
Okay. So 80% of people who acquire local customers, 80% comes from actual local marketing, face-to-face marketing.
Yep.
Okay.
Word of mouth.
Well, word of mouth, okay, and then go ahead and do you have the other two? So I don't.
Well, I mean, even when we're talking about entrepreneurs, most of them, I think it was 85% of those guys said that word of mouth marketing, network marketing was their go-to for starting their company.
Absolutely. And
we talked to a little bit, like even LinkedIn as of 2016 stated that 85% of the people that found jobs, it was through networking.
Through networking.
Not through, and you'd think they would have been saying, hey, X amount of people find their jobs through LinkedIn. They're not. LinkedIn published that. Now we know COVID happened. We had some different things happen, but typically you're going to get your job from who it's who you know.
It is who you know.
So is that all networking or is that just face-to-face networking? Is that digital networking?
I mean,
Was
I
there
think it
specification on
wasn't
that?
really specified. I mean, I think all networking, it's people in your network that you know, no matter how you
Right.
met them. You could have met them online on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Sure,
I mean,
but
it's people
it's
that
a
you
name.
know.
It's a referral.
It's a
I
referral.
know someone
Right.
that needs that would be the perfect fit for this position.
Right.
Right. So, but what I love about this is you now have this total networking in Denton, Arlington.
Cedar Hill and DeSoto opens this month, and then we'll have Frisco open next month.
This is something that's really taken off. And what it is, it's you operating, in your forte. It's you operating in your 1%. It's just something that you do just effortlessly, and you're so quickly able to put this together. I mean, to have 50 people show up at an event, right, for a title company, mind you, and to be able to start telling people, I'm sorry, we don't have enough room.
Right. And part of it too is when you're partnering with people, you're tapping into their network already. So you're finding people that are like-minded that want to grow their business, or they already have a good network, but they want to do more. So they're going to invite their clients. And so you get it's not just me that's trying to invite. It's not people I know, but people I know and it's their network. They're bringing their network to the table.
There you go. And then as a collective, everyone's elevated, right? As a collective, because you invite someone, I invite someone, and next thing you know, there's some kind of business synergy that happens because we're bringing people from different walks of life into the same room.
Right.
And that's something that's needed. It's needed so much right now.
I was shocked at how much it is really needed. I mean, it took off, and a lot of it, there's certain things to be successful, and timing is one of them. And so, you got a need in the market, and it's time because a lot of things shut down and they're having a hard time coming back. And so it's one of those ways that it was the right timing. So it's not all, it is that you're out talking about it, you start doing it, and you're taking action, right? Action.
Sure.
You have to actually set the event up and invite people. And I tell some of my people that are working with me, put a date on the calendar, find a venue, start inviting people, and then it will snowball.
It will.
You have to believe that. And some people get nervous. Like, well, what if if no one comes, no one comes. We thought no one was going to come to the first one. And it was
we had to actually turn people away.
right. So
I think that's
It's awesome.
important. You're saying you have to take action.
right.
You have to start with that action.
We all talk to entrepreneurs and businesses, and you got guys, oh, I'd like to do this, like to that. Well, you know what? You've got the first step. Every guru will tell you, taking action. You got to take that step, and once that action's taken, then it's in motion. You say you're going to do it, you put it out there, and then people are going to see it, and they're going to want to come.
So you're going to do one in Frisco. When you bring one to Prosper?
If you're going to help me host, if you're going to help me host it, then we'll talk.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Because Frisco's just so far from here. I don't know if I can.
OMG.
Wow. I'd say Frisco's another world from here, actually.
No, honestly, Chancey, you do one in Frisco, we will absolutely be showing up.
All right,
Absolutely,
awesome.
like you know that. So that conversation led to you feeling a little under the weather, right?
Yep.
And you went and you got tested because, of course, you work for ER.
I've got the hookup. So.
You kind of have the hookup, right? And it blew my mind that you got tested. And can you tell us about this experience?
So I go in, I'm not feeling good. Of course, COVID's still pretty rampant. And so your mind's working against you. You're like, oh, scratchy throat. I got a headache. My body's aching. And then they're like, oh, you better get tested. You better get tested. You probably have COVID. And so now the minute you say that, what happens? I feel terrible. I'm really bad now. It's bad. So I go in.
It just gets in your head.
Doc looks at me and goes, man, you don't look good. You better, let's get him checked in and get tested, do the blood work. And then I'm laying, the warm sheet over me. I'm in the ER. They're giving me IV. The whole 9 yards. Total care takes wonderful care of you if you go in, and they run all the blood work. Doctor comes back, I don't know, an hour later with all the stuff, all the results. You have coronavirus 229, blah 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 blah, and it's the common cold. And this dates back to 1970s, 70s and 80s. Coronavirus from the 70s and 80s, and you start realizing that there's a billion. I've got a sheet of what I didn't have. All the different coronaviruses and flu, because it's different. This was like the common cold virus. And you've got like the flu virus. You've got all these different ailments that they can now test for. So you get a full panel, so you know what you have. And it was just funny because after that they're like, okay, you need to go. You're okay.
You're fine. Get out.
You have the common cold. But okay, so here we go.
You're a baby.
What we're not doing is we're not going to go down the coronavirus conspiracy theory. Right. We're not going down that direction. We're not going down any of the negativity. Listen to what Chance said. They were able to test and now go, we can identify that it came from this variant that was introduced, that was first found in the 1970s and like that is crazy to think, like, and he had this within an hour.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lab on site, so it's. Right
okay,
there. Yeah,
they're cheating.
Yeah, it's not.
Using their resources wisely.
There we go.
Cheating.
So we went to my wife's lady doctor yesterday, and as we left,
because she's having a baby,
because we have another tiny on the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lindsay. And we didn't find out the gender because like this is really a new tiny little baby. And my sister or my mother-in-law, I don't remember which one on the text message, said, "Oh, you can just get some blood work done and they'll tell you what it is." Right. I'm like, oh gosh, like that's like we have it down to a science. It's science, like science to the just nth degree. You don't even know. Oh, by the way, good morning, Thomas. Thank you for joining us this morning, brother. It's crazy where we are now. And okay, so yes, that's
mind blown of the advancements of medical technology.
I'm going to prick you, take your blood, and in an hour know everything about you. Know what your body's susceptible to, know what vitamins you might need. Like, it's a whole new world.
Everybody you're related to, all the people that you're related, like 23andMe, I don't know if you watch Netflix, but they've got the doctor that got all these different women pregnant, in artificial insemination or whatever, and now he's got 94 kids.
What?
And people didn't know. It's like the number 2 show on Netflix.
I
You don't
have
need
not
to.
seen that.
That's a little too much drama for me.
Too much
That doesn't
drama.
come up on my
But
suggestions.
now they all found each other from the DNA testing.
Wow.
And you're like,
wow.
what? And I mean, it's like you just mail it into the 23andMe, and hey, you got a half brother. Crazy.
What? Dad, I do believe this is the Thursday show. Did I say it to the wrong day earlier?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Apparently I
So
wasn't
good
paying
morning, Dad.
attention
Thank you
to
for joining us. Yes, today is Thursday. I'm curious as to why you're pointing this out. I wonder if I said the wrong day. You want to know what? I haven't slept in the last 2 days, so it is absolutely possible that I have my days completely confused.
We usually don't have guests on Thursdays either.
Oh, that's what it's my fault.
Yes. No, well,
It's usually a Wednesday, Friday thing. that we have
correct.
guests.
Correct. You know what? Chance
It's
said he
not
can only come on
Friday yet,
Thursday, so
y'all.
we come in. Okay, so
Don't take the rest of the day off. It's not Friday.
So let's talk. Let's talk about. So we've gone down the power networking. We've gone now through the. I mean, hey, I'm actually staying kind of close to the script.
You are.
The bullet points.
I'm so
this
proud.
is right.
It's like unheard of.
You might have done this before.
But even though I do this a lot, I normally don't stay to the bullet point.
No. Yeah. We have like 4 different slides of points that we haven't gotten to yet because we got on tangents and
Then they were amazing tangents.
yes.
That's amazing content.
It's going to be an amazing amusement park.
I love that
If you
one.
don't know what I'm talking about, go watch yesterday's episode.
So let's talk about the value of coaching.
So that's a great question. I think, to me, you can't see your blind spot, right? So the number one thing people don't realize, I think that's the most powerful thing in coaching. You need somebody to be honest with you that doesn't, your wife loves you. She's not going to probably tell you all your faults. Your friends are great to talk to, but they're not going to, it's probably uncomfortable for them to tell you where they think where you're going wrong or ask you those kinds of questions. And then hold you accountable. So I think, a lot of times people talk about work-life balance. When you're in coaching, to me, it's not a work or a personal thing. It's both. If you're not having things go well at home, you're probably not going to be effective at work. And so when you, really what I've been focusing on recently and working with Total Care is professional development, personal development, and then spiritual development, because we are a Christian-based company. So just people having that stuff in mind and having goals, that alone, you're 90% ahead of everybody else, because 10% of the people write a goal down and never look at it again. So when you look at the statistics, the successful people have goals, but you've got to get, you want to build your culture and get everybody growing. That's where I think the secret sauce is.
So just to make sure I heard this correctly, a lot of people write down goals, right? But
At the beginning of the year.
But at the beginning, at the beginning of the year, at every quarter, some people every month, right? Yeah. But how many of those? And I think you're right on that. How many people actually go back and review those goals? Right? How many people actually go back and go, okay, that is one. Is that a smart goal?
Right. Is it measurable? Right. It's got to be measurable.
Right. And then with that, are you able to make progress towards it?
Right.
And are you looking at it every day?
Right.
Like we on our vision board, yes, there's some pictures up there, but there's written out goals. Here's the direction I'm moving the family. Here's the direction I'm moving the company. Here's where we're going. And when you don't have that, like I can just remember back when I first started as an insurance agent, back when I was in the military, no one talked to me about goals and vision and work-life balance. It was wake up and see what happens.
Right. Get into the office, and then were you checking your email or
Right.
It's your daily routine.
And there was no direction in my life. And I sit back and I look at that and I go, man, how much time did I waste? Just as you would say, if you have you ever seen a dog chase its own tail? Right. Like you don't have a sense of direction. So you just sit there and you just spin.
Right. It's funny that you use that analogy because dogs think that's like the best thing in the world.
Chasing their own tail.
Right. Right. And like how many people are in their day-to-day life and think this is the best thing in the world because they don't know anything different.
Whew. Yeah. Wow. I didn't expect it to be going down that.
I mean, if you don't have any idea where you're going, then you're going to end up, you're not going to end up, you're just going to be floating around. Maybe that's fine. Maybe you land somewhere that's okay. But most of the time you need to have your eyes on where you're moving.
Right. So good morning, Nolan. Thank you for joining us this morning, brother.
I'm just going to be, chasing your own tail. I love it.
But here we go, right? Like it's, and I love what you said. Your family can't always speak that over you, right? They can't have that accountability, including your spouse at times, right? Your friends, they're your friends. They're not your business coach.
Right.
They're not your personal development coach. Right. And maybe you go to Elevate Life. So you kind of have like a spiritual father, like Pastor Keith, like we have at our church. But a lot of people don't have a spiritual coach. Right. They're just, hey, I read my Bible on Sunday.
And I didn't understand what it said, I put it back on the shelf.
There you go, right? Or I have the Bible app and I read the verse of the day, but I have no one to bounce the ideas off of. That's why you have someone like you as a coach, because you need someone that can give you that 30,000 foot view that you can then also bounce ideas off of, not so you can tell them, but so they can
find out.
You go.
Ask questions. Find out what to question them on what they really want. And you're not there to be their friend, so you can also be a little bit tougher on them, more aggressive, being harder on them. Like it's not that we have a personal friendship. It's more that, hey, I'm going to get to where you want to be. And then it's going to be the accountability side. Because if you own your own business, like Nick, someone's got to hold you accountable. I know you have a coach, but you then have to show that, what am I trying to say? So like, hey, I've got to see Chance at some point. He's going to ask me where I'm at.
Right. Right. And with that accountability, it's not a negative thing. Okay. If you're looking at the accountability and going, I really don't want that, then you need to shift your mindset.
Yeah. Your mindset's in the wrong spot.
Correct.
And what I'll tell you is I would ask you, how do you want to be held accountable? So it would be a uncomfortable place. I mean, you're going to have to be outside your comfort zone a little bit, right? But I would talk to you about that. Like, well, do you want me to, how hard do you want me to be on you? What's it look like? So you have, I'm sure your coach has had that conversation with you, but it's how do you want to be, how it's when you establish a relationship, how you're going to work together. You get that worked out in advance.
Well, and what you're doing is you're setting that expectation.
Right.
Right. And here we go. Like, it's so funny that we're having this conversation because I've had executive coaches before where we're going through worksheets and we're getting direction and we're doing all this, and I'll see them a month later and they'll ask me the same questions that they asked me a month ago. And I'm like, did you, I remember this. I didn't ask you to ask about that. I asked you to keep me accountable to this. Why are we talking about this over here? And it's so funny because I remember this individual looking at me like almost panic in their face because now I'm keeping the coach accountable to what I asked the coach to keep me accountable to. And that's a bit of a problem. Yeah. Especially when I'm paying you.
Coach.
that person is no longer a coach in my life.
Yeah. For good reason.
Very good reason. So
coaches do your jobs.
Well, it did help you. I guess it did help you remember what you were doing.
It did.
So, they say on memory, if you put something like I bought that Apple thing to remember my keys, never lost my keys since I bought that tracker. And so I'm like, well, I guess it's triggered something in my brain.
That's funny
Right.
because I remember being at VentureX and you're like, I got to find my keys. Like, I remember you making that
I
statement.
could never find my keys, and now I have that Apple tracker, so it's like I never lose them now.
I never lose him
So
now.
it's actually good money well spent.
There you go. Nolan's okay. So I'm going to go all the way back to where we're talking about the dog chasing the tail. Nolan said, and dogs that have long tails, they always look so disappointed when they catch their tail and they realize it's their own tail.
Yeah, and they realize, oh, I'm not chasing something else. I'm chasing myself. See, I think
You're
that's...
chasing your own butt.
But they do it the next day also.
They do it. Keep going back to
I
it.
mean, if you
can't
think
help
about
it.
that in like people, when you burst that bubble,
What's that saying?
You mean adulthood?
Yeah.
like no, like people that are working and they're like, oh, this is what I've been trained to do this lifestyle, to do this regimen, to wake up and
Right.
have a job so I can pay for the expensive house and the car and all these things, and then you break that bubble and they're like, wait, there's more. There's other ways of doing life.
If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always had.
Wait a second. Say that again.
If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you already have.
I want that on a shirt.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
want
one.
that is good.
Dude, I'm busting out the quotes today.
Bro,
I've had
bro.
some quotes coming to me today.
Who said that?
I have no idea.
Chance did.
Well, it's the definition of insanity, right? It's the where if you always do, if you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. So you come in every day, you're not successful, you're doing the same thing every day. That's what you get.
Henry Ford said that.
There you go.
Even go, there we go. So I want the shirt, and on the back it says Henry Ford, right? But then I want Chance's signature underneath it.
And Tony Robbins.
I'm bringing it back.
And
He's bringing it back. He's bringing it back. But
that's funny.
I do love some Tony Robbins.
oh, right,
So-
right. Who's and no, that is a whole nother level of tangents I was about to take us down on. I'm not going to do it. So this is so Chance, you are the clinical liaison marketing guy. You have your marketing team. You're
Yes.
developing them. You are also coach.
And a coach, some people, and it was kind of a trial. I guess we started out as a trial, but it's going very well, and so it works good for my people and for other people that wanted to try out. They didn't know what it was, so as a company wants to grow, everyone to grow, it was like another added benefit to some of the employees. So it's one of those things where it helps build the culture. So it's been pretty awesome.
So you're kind of in two positions. You kind of have a
Right.
foot in two different positions within the same company.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I've been playing. So it's been fun. It's been a lot. I'm working a lot of hours, but it's
Staying
awesome.
busy, bro.
Well,
Staying
and that
busy.
actually brings up something that we were talking about before the show as well, is that companies today that are successful aren't just looking at the bottom line.
Right. And I mean, we were talking, culture, and that was looking at time for did I say that quote yet?
No, you haven't. You haven't.
Famous
we
quote
were
that,
just setting you up, man. We just thought you'd roll with
So
it.
let me be honest. I was I was presenting to the company last week, and I forgot to say this quote. That's why it's staying with me. But it was culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so
Yep.
it's been around a while, and it's awesome because you want your people. Your people are your best assets as far as promoting the company, and they're way more productive when they're happy. So if you've got a good culture, your employees will go to battle for you.
There you go.
And people, I think companies forget that, or they want to put that on their wall, but they don't really. You put it up on your wall how great your company is or what your values are, but you have to actually live them. And so one of the things that I do, and it doesn't matter if it's the liaison, the marketing for Total Care, for the networking, it's really showing people our values, our Christian values, and then actually we do mission work locally in Lebanon and in Africa and Kenya. And
That's local.
And we do some local here, like we do free vouchers for people to get health care. So they can go to the doctor
wow.
for a year. So we do that like in Argyle where our clinic is. And then we're actually taking like 287 pairs of shoes physically to Kenya. And so we'll, because a lot of things get seized through the airport. So we have
Oh, yeah, they do.
We
Yeah,
have
they
a
do.
person that we have a deliverance church that has an executive that meets us there and walks us through customs with all of our shoes or medical equipment or
Is
whatever.
that a travel liaison?
Yeah, you could say that.
but it's very true because when you're taking things like that into other countries and you're not physically there,
Right.
there's something called the black market. You may have heard of this, but things will just disappear.
I mean, it's like you have to pray for your food. Like you're doing feed the hunger, and you've got to pray that the food gets, after you've packed it, you've got to get it there.
Yes.
And so you hear stories of, guys with armed guards, trying to take the trucks, and
Yep.
it's
real.
It's pretty heavy duty. Yeah.
Wow.
It's very real. I mean, we live in a bubble. If you live in the Dallas, Texas area, you live in a bubble. You really do.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's why it does take money just to get those resources to those countries. Mm-hmm. It does. Well, most companies don't. I won't say most. There are companies out there that don't even realize that happens. So they think, oh, I'm just going to give money and it's just going to show up, or I'm going to give food and it's just going to show up. So that's great that you guys are not just preaching these this vision, mission, and core values, but the company actually from the leadership down is living this.
Living it. And I think, that's the most important thing to, like, our CEO wants everyone to know our heart. That's where the real, I think that's what they have us out there doing. We're showing people our heart. And then they really want, for every profit center, they want to have a mission. So the ERs are profitable, so they can, as long as people show up to them, then that provides opportunity for us to do the mission work. So
there
it's
you
pretty
go.
cool.
It's a great way of giving back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Chance, thank you for joining us.
Awesome
Yes,
to be
You
here.
dropped
thank you.
just so much gold today, so thank you very much for that.
Well, it was fun.
Please, if you guys have any questions about anything that Chance has talked about, make sure to reach out to him within the comments, and he'll be on there to reply, as well as Lindsay and I will be there to reply.
We will,
and
yes.
maybe make some quips and jokes and drop some of these quotes that he said today. Right?
They were good.
Stealing other people's work.
So thank you guys for joining us today. It is Thursday. I lost an entire day yesterday.
You did.
Like, I lost an entire. I am so behind right now. So we're actually going to end the show on time because why? Nick needs to get to work. Nick needs to take care of some clients
Lindsay
today.
needs Nick to get to work.
The boss says Nick needs to get to work. So, but we love you guys. And, one of the things we did not get a chance to do before the show, but we'll definitely do it after the show, is pray positive over you guys. So thank you guys for being in the comments. Thank you guys for liking the video. If you're listening to this on our podcast, come over to YouTube, come over to Facebook. This is where we get to actually interact with our audience and talk about things like dogs chasing their tails and, Nick practicing using scripts. Hey, I heard Nolando, man, he just watch. I'm gonna poke Nick, right? Mm-hmm. So, but we love you guys. We were so thankful you guys join us today. This world needs you. This world needs your positive. They need your energy. Your family needs your positive. Your family needs your energy. The people that you do life with need your positive. Okay? So make sure to bring it. Chance, thank you again for joining us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
And make sure that you
Rise up.
and crush it.
Bye, y'all.
y'all.